Do you ever wonder why people tend to dislike you as soon as they meet you? It's not because of your appearance or your personality, but rather because of these 7 tiny habits that you may be unaware of. From dominating conversations to being overly critical, these small habits can make a big impact on how others perceive you. In this video, we'll reveal the 7 tiny habits that can make people dislike you instantly and provide you with tips on how to overcome them. By making a few simple changes to your behavior, you can improve your relationships and make a more positive impression on those around you. So, what are you waiting for? Watch until the end to learn how to make a better first impression and build stronger relationships. Ever wondered why some people just don't seem to warm up to you? Sometimes it's not the big, obvious things that put people off. It's the tiny, everyday habits we barely notice. These small behaviors might feel harmless or even normal to us, but they can quietly rub others the wrong way. The good news? Once you spot these habits, you can easily work on them and make a better impression. In this article, we'll dive into 7 subtle habits that can make people dislike you almost instantly, according to psychology. Let's figure out what they are and how to avoid them. 1. Constant interruptions. Let's face it, we all have conversations. And conversations are a two-way street, but sometimes, without even realizing it, we might be stepping on the other person's toes. I'm talking about the habit of constantly interrupting others while they're speaking. According to psychology, this seemingly tiny habit can make people dislike you almost instantly. It's not just about being rude, it's about showing a lack of respect for the other person's thoughts and opinions. Interrupting someone regularly can give off the impression that you think your ideas are more important than theirs, and that's not a good look. While it might seem harmless, especially if you're just excited or passionate about the topic, it can be very off-putting to the person on the receiving end. 2. Excessive negativity. We all have rough days. I get it. There was a time when I used to constantly vent about my bad days, whether it was a tough meeting at work or a fight with my roommate. I thought sharing my frustrations was just a way to let off some steam. However, over time, I started noticing that people were less inclined to hang out with me. Some friends even subtly hinted that my constant negativity was draining. It was a wake-up call. I realized that being perpetually negative can push people away, almost instantly. Psychology backs this up. People generally prefer to surround themselves with positivity. Constant complaining or negativity can be emotionally exhausting for others. It's not about faking positivity, but about finding a balance. Now, I try to share not only the lows but also the highs of my day, and it has made a significant difference in my relationships. 3. Non-stop talking. Believe it or not, the average person speaks at a rate of about 125 to 150 words per minute. That's a lot of words, especially if they're all coming from one person in a conversation. Here's the deal. When we hog the conversation, it tends to make people dislike us almost instantly. It's not about being an amazing conversationalist or sharing great stories, it's about the balance in communication. Being a good listener is just as important, if not more so, than being a good speaker. When we constantly talk without giving others a chance to voice their thoughts, we're essentially telling them that their input isn't valuable. Next time you're in a conversation, take a moment to pause and give the other person a chance to speak. You might be surprised at what you learn when you take the time to listen. 4. Showing off. We all have achievements and successes that we're proud of, and there's nothing wrong with sharing these moments with others, but there's a thin line between sharing and showing off. In my experience, people who constantly boast about their accomplishments tend to be disliked almost instantly. It's not the success that puts people off, but the perceived lack of humility. It's always important to remember that everyone has their own set of achievements and struggles. Constantly talking about your own successes can make others feel inferior or less accomplished. When you want to share a success, consider framing it in a way that acknowledges the contribution of others or reflects on the journey rather than just the achievement. It can make all the difference in how people perceive you. 5. Being dismissive. I remember a time when I was quick to dismiss things that didn't align with my perspective. Whether it was a new idea at work or a friend's choice of movie, my immediate reaction was often to dismiss it without giving it a fair shot. This habit, although subtle, can make people dislike you almost instantly. It sends a message that you're not open to different perspectives or new ideas, and that can be quite off-putting. Now, I make a conscious effort to be more open-minded. Instead of outright dismissal, I try to understand the reasoning behind different viewpoints. Not only has this improved my relationships, but it has also broadened my perspective. 6. Not respecting personal space. We all have an invisible bubble around us, our personal space. And when someone invades that space without permission, it's bound to make us uncomfortable. According to psychology, this seemingly small habit can make people dislike you almost instantly. It's not just about physical proximity, it's about respecting boundaries in all aspects, whether it's leaning in too close during a conversation or rummaging through someone else's belongings without asking. These actions can quickly make you seem disrespectful and intrusive. Everyone has a right to their personal space. So the next time you're interacting with someone, be mindful of their boundaries. It can make a world of difference in how they perceive you. 7. Lack of empathy. At the heart of all social interactions lies empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. It's what connects us as human beings. However, when we lack empathy in our interactions, it can make people dislike us almost instantly. It's not just about understanding someone's feelings, it's about showing genuine concern and respect for their experiences. Whether it's disregarding someone's feelings or not acknowledging their struggles, a lack of empathy can be perceived as cold and uncaring. Showing empathy doesn't mean you have to agree with everyone or solve their problems. It's simply about acknowledging their feelings and showing that you care. These tiny habits can have a big impact, so be mindful of them. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more tips.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe now and hit the bell icon